Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into the one chemical that secretly runs your entire life, dopamine. And I'm going to show you exactly how to hack it to unlock some serious, sustainable motivation. All right, let's just start with a bombshell, shall we? What if I told you that everything you enjoy, that cookie, scrolling through your phone, even blasting your favorite playlist, is actually, secretly, killing your motivation? I know, it sounds totally insane.
I mean, how on earth can the things that feel good be the very reason we can't get ourselves to do anything? Well, that's the huge mystery we're going to unravel today. And trust me, the answer is going to completely change how you look at your daily routine.
Okay, first things first, we've got to bust a major myth. You've probably heard people talk about getting dopamine hits, right? Well, spoiler alert, that's not really how it works. Not at all, actually. See, the reality is that your brain isn't just getting these little hits. It's all about maintaining a constant level of dopamine. Think of it as your baseline. This is your day-to-day level of drive. Then, certain things you do cause a temporary spike, a peak above that baseline. But here's the crucial part. How high that peak goes has a massive impact on where your baseline ends up afterwards.
The easiest way to picture this whole process is to think of a seesaw in your brain, a pleasure-pain seesaw. And it follows one simple rule. For every bit of pleasure, there's an equal and opposite tilt towards pain. What goes up must come down. But with dopamine, it actually comes down lower than where you started.
So let's watch this play out. Here's your brain on a typical day. Your dopamine baseline is nice and level. You feel pretty good, motivated enough to get things done. Everything's balanced. And then you eat a piece of chocolate. Boom, you get that immediate, sharp peak in dopamine. That's the pleasure side of the seesaw shooting way up. Feels great, right? Of course it does. But here it is, the catch. Once that peak wears off, your brain scrambles to get back to balance by tipping the seesaw hard over to the pain side. Your dopamine level doesn't just go back to normal, it plummets below your original baseline. And now you're left feeling a little blah, a little less motivated, and maybe even craving more chocolate just to feel normal again. And this is the one rule you have to burn into your brain. The more intense the pleasure, the deeper and longer the pain and lack of motivation will be afterward. A tiny peak means a tiny dip. A giant peak, well, that means a giant crash. And this leads us to a really common trap in our modern world, something called dopamine stacking. This is where we combine a bunch of pleasurable things at once, thinking we're maximizing our fun, when in reality, we're just setting ourselves up for a massive motivational collapse. I mean, just look at how crazy these peaks can get. Chocolate gives you a nice little 1.5 times boost. Sex doubles it. But then you get into substances. Nicotine, cocaine, they're 2.5 times your baseline. And amphetamines, a staggering 10 times increase. You can just imagine the kind of crash that follows a peak like that. And this, right here, is the very definition of addiction. When you keep chasing those huge artificial peaks, your baseline level of dopamine gets pushed lower and lower and lower. Pretty soon, normal, simple pleasures like taking a walk or having a good conversation, they don't even move the needle anymore. You've literally narrowed the list of things that can make you feel good. Think about it like this. Say you're going to the gym. You layer it on. You slam a pre-workout, you put on your most intense playlist, maybe you scroll Instagram between your sets. What you're doing is creating this massive fake peak that just drains your dopamine reserves. And you're accidentally training your brain to think that the only way a workout can be satisfying is with all that stimulation. So next time, the workout itself feels boring. Okay, so that's the bad news. What's the solution? Well, it's incredibly powerful, but honestly, it's the opposite of what you'd expect. You have to learn to stop chasing the reward at the end and start finding the reward in the effort itself. There's a scientific term for this, intrinsic reinforcement. This is the absolute game-changing ability to get that dopamine release, not from crossing the finish line, but from the hard work of running the race. You can literally teach your brain to enjoy the feeling of friction and struggle. And we know this works because of how badly external rewards can backfire. There was a classic Stanford experiment where they took a group of kids who just loved to draw. Then they started giving them a reward for drawing. And you know what happened when they took the reward away? The kids didn't want to draw anymore. The reward had hijacked their brain, shifting the pleasure from the fun of drawing to the anticipation of the prize. It killed their natural drive. So if you only remember one single thing from this entire explainer, please let it be this. Don't spike your dopamine before you do the hard thing to get motivated. Don't spike it after the hard thing as a reward.
The secret to everything is to learn how to get the dopamine spike from the effort itself.
It's a total mental flip. The old way is thinking, ugh, I just have to suffer through this workout to get my smoothie. That teaches your brain that the workout is pain. The new, effort-based way says, you know what? This strain, this friction, this is a sign I'm getting stronger. This feels good. When you do that, your motivation suddenly comes from inside you. It becomes sustainable. It becomes unstoppable. So I'll just leave you with this one last question to think about. What if you could actually rewire your brain so that the hardest part of your day, that struggle, that grind, that moment where you really want to give up, could actually become the very best part? That is the power of understanding your own dopamine.